Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Truth, lies, shenanigans. 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 Tune in to TLS. Yeah, tune in to TLS. It's the TLS show. Coming to you live from the TLS show.
Hey, welcome to Truth, Lies, Shenanigans podcast. Social commentary, hot topics, amazing guests with a ton of fun and shenanigans along the way. Today's topics. Air Canada was called out online for an alleged price surge during evacuations from these devastating wildfires. Then, an Hawaiian model raised $30,000 from Maui by selling nude photos on OnlyFans. And the British Museum is complaining about their stolen artifacts being stolen. And if you're just checking us out, we record our podcast live on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch TV, TruthLiesShenanigans.com, and TikTok. And we want your comments. So make sure you are commenting online on YouTube and Facebook. Be sure to check out Apple Podcasts, Pods Network, and YouTube for all of our previous episodes. Or you can simply say, Alexa, play the Truth, Lies, Shenanigans podcasts. All right. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. First up today, we have our grandpapa, the nature lover, gamer, and rock star, coming to you from Ontario, Canada, Robbie Rock.
Thanks. That's awesome. Saw the little one yesterday, so that landed well.
It's cute.
Happy Hump Day, everyone. Yeah. So I really want to tell you about my Saturday. We went kayaking with some good friends on Whitson Lake in the late morning, which is just up the road from our place.
Nice.
But as we got in the water, we noticed this pontoon boat with large orange metal canisters. And my buddy works in mining sales and recognized them as explosives tubes. So we figured that they were fireworks. So as the boat cruised by, I looked at the skipper and I was like, hey, when's the party? So I just pointed out onto the lake and he was like, 9:15. We're going to be firing them off from that island. So we enjoyed an amazing paddle. We had a beautiful day, and then we capped it off with an unexpected fireworks display that evening. So it was an amazing Saturday.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Oh,
Firework.
beautiful. See?
So you got
You
lucky.
never know what to expect when you're out and about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like talk to people. If you engage, you might find out what's happening around you.
Yep.
Exactly. Nice.
All right.
I told you I want to go kayaking soon. That's my thing.
Oh.
There's a lake nearby, so I got to do it.
Kayaking.
Go for it, man.
Yeah. All right. Next up, our young, vibrant model and business owner streaming from Atlanta, Georgia, Gianni Storm.
Hey guys, I've missed you. It's actually been a pretty slow week for me. Which is good. It's a good thing. I'm kind of restructuring things here. Things have to change a little bit around here, so, but in a good way. And I've actually been learning. Yeah, I told you guys last week I'm gonna make the move. So my business I'm restructuring, some new habits I'm implementing, and just working out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm actually a little bit more excited about some urban farming that I've been learning.
Awesome.
I know. I've been
I'm so
inspired
proud of
by
you.
Joe and Rob.
That's Robbie's thing. So urban farming. So
growing.
so when you're saying urban farming, where are you doing this at?
So urban farming, if you guys don't know, is like if you have an apartment, if you have a townhome, just a small area where you can't obviously have access to land to grow things. You just grow it on your balcony or inside your home. And I'm going to actually be hanging things that I'm going to be growing. And I've learned that in the fall, it's good to grow like lettuce, greens, and like root vegetables. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's a lot of
That's
work.
You guys might see
amazing.
it's not a lot of Neo, it's not a lot of work.
No, it's not a lot of work.
Just, consistent work.
I don't know.
It's persistent work.
It's hard for me to keep plants alive, so like
Okay.
like I have a garden. I have a garden, and I intentionally plant perennials, so I never have to worry about it.
Oh, I love
E-
perennials.
Yeah, every year they just bloom, and it's beautiful. I have a beautiful
Yeah,
front.
easy.
It's Yep, they just
But you can't eat that. You can't eat that.
It's okay.
No.
I'm not trying to.
Or even like
Okay.
you can plant like little microgreens that you can use in your salads, or Mel can use in the salads or in spices and stuff that you can grow inside your kitchen.
Did you say Mel can use in
Absolutely.
the salads? Mel
Yeah.
Mel, Mel
and the
doesn't
spices.
Mel doesn't cook for me as much as she used to anymore. Makes me sad.
Aw.
Well, you got to cook
do
for
you
her.
so do you cook more for her
I
then?
I do cook occasionally for her. Occasionally. I mean,
No,
I
you
probably
gotta
okay. I'll put it this way:
inspire
I probably cook more for her than she cooks for me. How about that?
Bold words.
Well,
Captured
maybe you're a
online.
good.
Bold words.
Maybe you're the good cook. You're a good.
I
cook
mean,
then.
but if I'm being honest, it might be one extra meal more than she does every now and then. So.
Men
All
are
right.
they're so ungrateful.
But technically, it's more. All right. All right. And I'm your host, Neo Nix. All right.
Idea.
So since you brought up kayaking. I went kayaking too this weekend. I went kayaking with my wife,
wow.
Mel, and we went to,
Oh.
we went to Annapolis, and they have these social events where they let you bring your dogs. And so we took our dogs out
Ooh.
with us on a kayak. We had a 2-person kayak. I was in the back, she was in the front, and we had the 2 dogs just on the kayak, and we're just kayaking around through Annapolis. It was a lot of fun, actually. The
That's
dogs did
so
And
really,
how
cute.
are
really
the dogs in
good.
the boat?
Yeah, dogs
I
did
know.
really
How
good.
they weren't nervous? They weren't
Wow.
jumping or
No,
moving?
this is
and
actually the
anything?
second time we've done it. The first time we have a small dog, and then we have a larger dog who's kind of like silly. He's a little floppy and he's uncoordinated.
Oh.
So the first time we went out, he fell in like immediately. He was like, oh my gosh. But we have life vests on him, and so he was floating up the top,
Okay,
but he was
good.
like just trying to get
That's
back
so
in. And
cute.
but I think he learned his lesson from then, because he did really well this time. So,
He learned quick.
yeah, he learned. But
Which one is that? Is that one River?
yeah, River. So my wife came up
So
with the
river fell
names.
in the water. That's
River
amazing.
River fell in the river. But she named our dogs River and Phoenix.
That's so
So
cute.
River,
Yeah,
Phoenix.
Phoenix is the other one.
Yeah,
Okay.
from the actor.
That tells you something, my friend. That tells you something, my friend.
What does it tell me? What?
Mm.
River Phoenix. Is
Not
River
saying
Phoenix a
anything.
person? Or is it just two separate? She just thought of this.
Aw. Yes, River Phoenix is a person.
I'll let you handle this, Robbie.
I'll look it up
look 'em
after
up.
the show.
Look him up.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. And you'll go, oh, yeah.
Oh,
there you go."
him. Yes,
River
yes.
Phoenix.
Oh, I see Mike
Nice.
Winters online. He says, haven't had a chance to watch live in a while. Neo, prepare for your roasting.
Yes.
Yay.
Robbie, let's
Nice
get
to
into
have you
these
back.
topics. Robbie, you're up first. You want to talk about Air Canada. Let's talk.
Yes, yes.
Lies, shenanigans.
So yeah, I wanted to start tonight's conversation with about the delicate balance between ethics and profits within a capitalist society. So as the evacuation efforts were underway in the Northwest Territories and Yellowknife due to the wildfires, some service provider algorithms behaved in accordance with the surge in demand. So when faced with the urgent need to evacuate, residents found that both companies significantly raised their ticket prices, sparking a debate about the moral implications of such surge prices. So, for example, Air Canada's price went from approximately $300 for the flight to just over $4,600, while WestJet charged a customer $420 to change a $420 change fee to postpone an existing flight, which they later refunded. So my question to you is, in a capitalist society that's focused mainly on profit, how can companies juggle making money with the moral duty to help communities in need during disasters?
Johnny, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I mean, I understand as like in any business, the bottom line is you do have to make money in an airline. And if there's a demand, that means you do have to implement higher prices in some respect. I think though, in the wider, if I was this airline, in the wider perspective, I would have just been like, whether I would have just seen it as a cash grab opportunity, money hungry opportunity, or if I would have seen it as like a hero airline opportunity that would have paid in the end, where people would have respected your company and you just got business through that. So I would have done it that way. But I understand. I think that that ticket for a price, that price for that ticket is insane and disrespectful. I would never. And especially when people are literally in an emergency, I think it's just disrespectful. But I, like I said, I would have wider perspective and just been like, let us be the hero airline that gets all the good business because we did the right thing, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say, I mean, I think it's a little overblown though, because you brought up that
Right.
$4,665 flight ticket, but it was what it was it's a misunderstanding because that ticket involved trips with 3 stops operated by different carriers. So it was not like, Air Canada was out there trying to just go after it and just raised all their prices. This was just an odd ticket in an odd situation. I mean,
Mhm.
so I mean, a little overblown on that. So I don't know that their prices were jacked up the way they're trying to say. And then,
They weren't that inflated,
I
but
mean,
they were higher significantly.
they were higher. They were a bit higher, and it's good that they put the cap in. But I think the bigger problem is that sure they got a cap, right? But there's like no flights going out. they like have they like have no flights. So I mean, granted they're trying to follow the Canada's guidance and stuff like that, but there's no flights going out. So even if you were to get one of these flights or anything, there's just nothing there. And I get the whole idea about corporate profits and things like that. I don't think that's the case here personally. I mean, you had to convince me, Rob.
Okay.
No, and that's it. I mean, it's the algorithm doing what the algorithm does. It's, hey, there's a surge in demand for these tickets, so now that automatically increases the value. Both companies did correct it. They issued apologies and statements saying that this was a misunderstanding. I'm of the ilk of Johnny when it comes to this. I think that these airlines had an opportunity to really cash in. Free advertising, doing humanitarian relief,
It's true.
offering free flights,
That's fair.
and then using it as a tax write-off because you're doing humanitarian aid. To me, that's the ideal win scenario. But the responsibility is
Yeah.
to the shareholders. So it is all about capitalism and making money whenever you can make money, and when you can make money good, you make money good. But this is definitely not the time to do it. In response, Justin Trudeau flew out, he got the army involved and started getting some relief that way. But yeah, when people need to get out because everything is on fire, get the
And that's
people
the
out
point.
quickly. Get them out quickly. And if you only offer 1 flight a day, change your policy. Get the people out safely.
So outside of that crazy ticket price that they're talking about, which again, that's one of those things where it's, yeah, you could point to it, but it's odd.
Exaggerated.
Outside of that,
Yeah.
I mean, what were the ticket prices going for? How much more were they than before?
100.
Marginally, just marginally. Like a $300 flight might have been 400. So it was just a small increase, but it's still an increase nonetheless because of the surge in demand. It's just what the algorithm is doing, and I think it's just very gauche. I just don't like seeing profiteering. Even at the onset of COVID, when certain items were in very high demand and people were making like hoarding mountains of toilet paper and selling it to people. As well. Bad news for you, chum. There's a world of leaves out
They're
there.
still doing stuff like
World
that.
of
They're still
I was
doing
hoarding.
stuff
I
like
hoarded a bunch of toilet paper too. I mean, I had toilet paper.
that. Neo,
I mean,
Yeah, but
what was I supposed to
weren't
do? I did. They were.
but you weren't selling it for $10 a roll.
No, I wasn't selling. No, I wasn't
There you
selling.
go. So
That was-
when profiteering during a time of crisis is just gross. It really is one of the grossest characteristics of humanity, because we seem to do it whenever there is a crisis. There is someone who's going to be greedy and try to make a really fast buck off of everybody during those times.
I think that is relative to the situation though a little bit, because I feel like sometimes, like for example, this is not a good example, but it's one that came to my head. There's this guy going along that goes to Beyonce concerts because he knows that after the Beyonce concerts, there's women that are like tired. They're in heels all night. They've been dancing. So he sells slippers. Genius. Like that's like,
It actually is.
it's
genius.
not. Yeah, like you're tired. You're
But is
gonna
that really
walk to, you know,
profiteering? That's
parking lot.
just
That's
creating
just good
demand.
marketing. That's
Yeah,
that's being a good. That's he knows. He knows.
Okay, I guess. Okay, I guess that's true.
I mean, because
true.
nobody else was doing it. It'd be different if there were like, competition and he was raising his prices just to be like, because
No.
nobody else could get them, or
It's different. Like
No,
if there was
just
if there was a fire in the
business.
stadium and people were running out and they're falling all over themselves, and now he's trying to sell these slippers at $50 a pop. You can have
Okay.
one slipper you can have the right one for 50.
Yeah.
You can have the left one for another 50. Just
That's when it gets
whenever
shady.
there's
Yeah.
a crisis situation, whenever there's a disaster, and people are trying to make a lot, when they're gouging you, when they're taking advantage of people in need,
Take advantage.
that's
Yeah.
when it really is gross and disgusting. And if the software does it automatically,
yeah.
there needs to be checks and balances. And this is a humanitarian thing. So do the free flights, try to get the tax write-off, offer more flights, just do the right thing.
So Mike Winter says
And
profiteering during natural disasters is disgusting, but they do it all the time. He said Alf tried to maximize profits of the damn vaccines during COVID. Alf being Trump, obviously.
I
So-
do have one more comment though, and because one thing that makes me even more grossed out by the situation is that airlines, when they mismanage their business models, come to the taxpayers for bailouts. We see airlines do it repeatedly. So if we're there for
Or-
you in your time of need, because we can't really afford to have these places shut down, when we are in our time of need, remember that we bailed you out several times. You owe us. So do the right thing.
But this, I will
Agreed.
say, you talking about the profiteering. I mean, this Air Canada surging thing had gotten me thinking about like the other battle that Canada has going on, because you were on Facebook and we were sharing articles back and forth, and for some reason you couldn't see them. We were trying to figure those out, and then we found out that Meta has a ban on news articles because apparently, so Canada has this new law called C-18, and
Mhm.
and it wants tech giants like Meta to pay Canadian news publishers every time one of us sends a link to one of our friends. So like the link that I sent to Rob and he couldn't see it, they want to make sure that those news people get paid for it. So what Meta decided to do is do a complete news ban in Canada, cutting off vital information, which is crazy during these like raging wildfires. So I will say
know. I didn't even know it was possible.
the prime minister called for reversal of the ban now. So I'm curious, do y'all think Canada is right trying to get these local news companies paid, or is Meta wrong, and just focused on profits?
Meta's
Everything
a
is about
corporate
money
entity
these
focused
days.
on products, and this isn't the first time that Facebook takes on this fight. The Australian government did something similar back in 2021, and
They
they
did.
got them to pay out. They did it. So I think
Yeah,
that the
they
real
did.
issue here is that if it pans out in Canada, the US will follow. And
I mean,
that's a huge part of their revenue
They got
stream.
it done
But
in Australia though, but Rob, there was a real struggle because they did have news blackouts because they had trouble negotiating. Meta had trouble negotiating with all of those Australian news organizations trying to get their deals. Some people wanted this type of money, just so that people could
Right.
get their news through, their news links
Social media.
through
Yeah.
through
Facebook.
Facebook. So it was a challenge, even though it was a good idea for the news outlets. It was a challenge. So
yeah,
I mean, but it's
the
something
oligarchs got
new.
enough money. So
what were you saying, Jenny?
I think I was gonna say, even though it's a challenge, it's because it's something new that we're trying to do here. Like we're trying to pay the news outlets for.
I'm sorry, I was looking at a comment
some-
online. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. We're trying to pay the news outlets. So I think that it's a good thing. I think Meta is jerks and they should pay. And I think that it's messed up, especially in this situation where you need vital information. So I hope that they're successful though, because I need to be able to see Rob's links. Like, this is sick. I'm tired of this.
See, I'm gonna disagree with you guys just a little bit because
Why?
I mean, think about it. I mean,
it's what he does.
Yeah.
well, I mean, yeah, that's a fact.
Mhm.
Yes. All right, but I'm going to put this on Canada because I don't know that this is the right thing to do necessarily because if you look at Facebook, you're not getting your news through Facebook. It's just a conduit. Matter of fact, Facebook has provided a lot of opportunity for small news organizations that weren't making any money to get a lot of
Recognition.
views,
Yeah.
a lot of views, because
Sure.
now they're sharing back and forth. They're sharing this, they're sharing that. I mean, before social media, a small news organization had to do a lot of advertising. They had to do all of this. But now, with all these algorithms and all these shares and all these other things, a small organization can get an incredible story and blow up in a heartbeat. And that wasn't possible before. So, I mean, they're pushing a lot of views their way, which leads to a lot of profits, especially if they do it correctly. So, I
But-
don't know. Good.
I disagree because I think views don't mean profits. We've seen that with Instagram influencers.
That's how they make
have
money.
millions. No,
No,
because
that's
not
how
a lot of people
Facebook
are
is getting
smart.
all of the ad revenue. Facebook's getting all the ad
Yeah,
revenue.
they know what they're doing.
Right, being shared
They're
that
geniuses.
way. And they have profited. They have made so much money from us.
Billion.
So
Billions a
honestly,
year.
good,
Please.
honest news, honest and unbiased news that isn't produced for free. Good news agencies need money to pay reporters to get the real goods out there. So we report on the real goods that are out there. That's what we talk about. I'm not out in the trenches because that takes capital, a lot of it.
Yeah.
And Facebook is just Meta is just redirecting and getting all of their advertisement payouts. But that news should be, they need to be paying.
But they're not displaying the
news
news
agencies.
on their page. They're not displaying the news and information on Facebook. So to read the
the news
article, you have to go
Sit down.
to the news
the actual
organization.
website.
You have to go to
Right.
CNN. You have to go to CBC.
In
And you have
this
to go
age
to.
of instant information, Neo, how many people click the news article? They look at the picture, they read the headline, they read the little descriptor line, and
Exactly.
they move on to the next thing. They move on to
But
the
they
next
got
thing
that insert
because
of information.
they got that little bit of information. Now they've moved on to the next story.
But
It's true.
again, I feel like there are just a lot of news organizations that wouldn't exist today. Like there's this now this
Oh yeah.
organization that
Mhm.
wouldn't exist. A very small organization that wouldn't exist without social media. There's a lot of news organizations that just wouldn't have happened if Facebook weren't sending people to them. So I don't know. There's a balance, I think, there, and I don't know that.
But
I,
that's
I think
different.
it's a
Those are
symbiotic.
digital-
It's a symbiotic situation that we are now making more of a, I don't know, more of a lecherous situation where now somebody has to get something. I think both people were winning. The news organizations were winning. Smaller ones, maybe not. Who knows?
But would you
you're
say
gonna
that the tech
lose one way or
giants
the
have
other.
been winning? Have the tech giants been winning at a much higher rate than the rest of the industries, Neo? When individuals' net worth is worth more than media empires.
But that's
So
because
I'm
the
just saying-
profits are spread among
mean,
multiple news organizations, whereas there's one tech giant. So, of course, some of them are going to do extremely well. CNN's doing exceptionally well. There's other news organizations doing well. What's that? The Trump one, the
Truth.
conservative, not Truth Social. I'm talking about the conservative one that blew up. There's a bunch of conservative, news organizations that blew up. There's a bunch of liberal organizations that blew up. I'm just saying it was a very good symbiotic relationship, and I think a few small news organizations are the ones fighting this battle,
And I'm
The
going to
ones
disagree with you because
getting left out.
Rupert Murdoch's net worth sits somewhere around 10 billion,
Bad
while
word.
Zuckerberg's
Newsmax.
is
Thank you.
sitting
Thank
at
you, Mike.
about 100 billion. and in a much shorter period of time. So I'm sorry, Rupert owned a media conglomerate, and he's nowhere near what Zuckerberg has accomplished. The wealth is not being distributed in an equitable fashion. It's not being distributed in a fair way. And I think the media outlets absolutely should be getting their cut so that we can continue getting honest and unbiased news.
I think the reason they don't want to cut the checks for these reporters is because if you do it for them, then you're going to have to do it for other professionals that distribute like important services on that. Like, I can't think of anybody right now.
It does set a
anything.
precedence. There's no question.
Yeah, it's going to make everybody
Precedent
want
was set in Australia. The precedent, it has been set.
But they pay influencers on these platforms, so
I think they need to find a different way, and I don't think it need to be legislated. I think they need to find a different way to do it. I mean, the prime minister, his plea for Meta to reverse this ban is clear that it's needed. You need to have this type of communication with, Facebook being able to, your friends being able to say, hey, by the way, there's a wildfire nearby, get out of here. Facebook has a value to it, and so do the news organizations. So they're going to have to find some balance, is my thought. All right.
everybody knows Facebook, but nobody really knows BBC News. They're not going to go to these specific Washington Post. Like, they're not going to go, not
And
the
that's a
newer,
problem.
the younger generation. They're not going to
exactly, and that's a problem. They should be going to TikTok and Facebook to get their news.
Mike Winter says, Gianni, please go watch My Own Private Idaho immediately after this show is over. And he also says,
I got you.
He also says Neo disagrees and is wrong often.
It's true.
Hey,
Welcome back, Mike.
Hey, did you just say it's true? I don't appreciate that. Is this true?
No, Neo does have good points.
Shenanigans.
You have good points, Neo. This is Shenanigans.
I don't think they should be changing this is truth. I don't think they should be changing. I think it's been working just fine, and legislating this is nonsense.
All I know is all the good people that are doing good things aren't getting paid enough. So pay them.
But that's everybody. Everybody's not getting paid enough. I'm not getting paid enough. I'm doing good things
Come
too,
on.
and I'm not getting paid enough.
Zuck is getting paid enough. Musk is getting paid enough. The tech giants are getting paid more than enough. They're flying. They're going to Mars.
They do provide a lot of value, though. They do provide a lot of value, but so do other people like teachers. And
This topic's over. This topic's over. All right, before we get into the next topic, I've got to take a minute out to remind you about Pods Network. If you still haven't checked out Pods Network yet, you've got to check it out. Pods Network is working on gathering some of the most interesting, aspiring new podcasts for your curious ears. There's another couple of podcasts you should be checking out. Let's Talk Disability. This podcast delves into unique experience and triumphs of the disabled community. It's a conversation that will touch your eyes and touch your heart. Then there's Undiagnosed. Follow the stories of individuals living with unexplained conditions and doctors striving to unravel the unknown. It's a gripping exploration of medical mysteries you won't want to miss. So if you're looking for a fresh, new, engaging podcast, head over to Pods Network. That's PODZ Network. Aspiring podcasts, curious listeners. And while you're there, don't forget Truth Lies Shenanigans. Make sure you download it. All right, I am up next with the next topic.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
This one's fun. Mariah Casillas took a bold approach to raising funds for the Maui wildfire relief efforts by selling nude photos. Now, she pledged to donate all proceeds she raised, over $30,000, for the Hawaii Wildlife Fund and the Red Cross. But GoFundMe banned her fundraiser, citing a violation of their terms related to adult content. She's known as a Lava Girl on OnlyFans. Her use of explicit materials to support humanitarian cause has ignited some fiery debate, with some praising her creativity and others expressing deep concern over the ethics and appropriateness of her methods. So my question to you guys, is Mariah's approach Is it a creative way to raise funds for a critical cause? Or does the use of
Yes.
nude photos, to help people cross a line that warrants criticism and concern? I actually want to know what Gianni thinks first. Gianni, what do you think?
Um, I'm for it. I'm not usually for
I'm
this kind of
sorry.
behavior.
I just got to point this out
Mike, what-
before you get into it. Mike Winter said, free tatas for Maui.
Free the tatas for Maui. Free the tatas.
Free the
Yes.
tatas for Maui. Free the tatas for Maui.
it is a beautiful
okay.
cause.
Oh, hey. Hey, Robbie, you keep them tatas.
TikTok is gonna ban us again. No, I think like I said, I'm not usually for this kind of behavior, but the cause, and she's successful at it, and she actually was able. It's not like this weird, like,
Yeah.
half-baked girl who's trying to make something happen and she doesn't have no fans, and she raised $100. She's raising thousands of dollars and actually can, help people in this instance. So I think I'm for it.
You're for it.
Use what you got.
All right.
A lot of nudes.
All right. Go ahead, Robbie.
Go for it,
Use
Neil.
what you got.
Go ahead, buddy.
I was going to say, so, I see where people might be coming from with, concerns about using nude photos and for fundraising. But, I mean, she took a bold approach, turning her OnlyFans platform into wildlife relief funds. She wanted to help. She had a nice means to help. I mean, it's not conventional. It's not like she went to a bake sale or something. She set up a bake sale. I mean, she leveraged her following for a charitable cause. She challenged stigmas of nudity and, challenged the adult entertainment. People think about the adult entertainment, and she did it within the rules, right? I mean, it's not like she was breaking laws. I mean, if she was doing something illegal,
she didn't do it within the rules because
because she
initially.
got banned.
She did
not
not
at first.
do it within the rules.
Well, she ultimately did it within the rules.
She got it together. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like she did anything illegal. She didn't hurt anybody. She didn't kill anyone. What's the difference in how she got the money? And then if you think about it, most of the people who are wagging their finger at her, I don't think any of them contributed $30,000 to those victims. Everybody's saying, no, you shouldn't do it. She had a way to help. She used her power. It's more than what the people who are complaining did. I mean, I'm just saying.
What do you think, Rob? Are you against it, Rob?
I'm struggling with this one because I really am not a fan of OnlyFans girls, OF girls. Generally, no. I really struggle with that platform.
Well, why?
But
I'm just out of curiosity. Why?
I'll get into it after. I'll get into it after. But as far as Mariah is concerned, she did something charitable, raising money for people in need during a time of crisis is a truly honorable thing to do.
Yeah.
Showing your bits to anyone with $10 on the internet isn't.
What's wrong with showing your bits to anyone with $10 to get money from Maui? Well, I don't understand. What's the problem with that?
All right.
It's a little.
I mean, Mike Winter says, Nia, you got to get the audience up somehow. Rob can show his goodies if he wants to. Okay, Rob B., why don't you show your tatas for Maui?
My dirty bits for Maui.
Everybody $10 for Maui. Okay.
$10. But no, I get it. OF girls are making bank right now, and a lot of them are starting to share their stories now that they've been doing it for a while or they're getting out of it. And it's not all about easy money, empowerment, sexual liberation, choice, and autonomy. A lot of these adult content creators are failing to see the long-term ramifications of their actions. So if you make adult content, your privacy is at risk, which can have future consequences on you, your family. Your income becomes completely dependent on the platform. So all it takes is a policy and algorithm change, and their revenue streams are tanked, and their marketable skill is getting naked online.
A lot of
So
stuff is
society-
copywritten, though.
Dude, come on. If it's on the internet, please. Okay. Society still stigmatizes sex workers, and the emotional toll that it takes on people can lead to burnout, mental health challenges, difficulties with making intimate connections. Now,
Self-esteem.
this is when we're getting to some of the more extreme OnlyFans content, but even it's that lack of intimacy. If you're willing to show what's reserved for your intimate partner, if you're willing to trade that for $10, it
No,
It
she wasn't
really puts
trading it
into
for
question who you are.
$10, Robbie. She was
trading
trading.
it for Maui
Right.
to be released. To be released.
She was trading
Yes.
it to help
Power.
other people. She was trading that. I mean, it wasn't. It
But
wasn't.
what
She wasn't
did-
just doing
what
it for
she
$10.
did with the money, what she did with the money
It's
that she raised is honorable, and I'm not contesting that at all. I'm not contesting that fact. I am struggling with the fact that, I mean, is it
How
any
she
different
did it.
than doing? Well, is it any different than selling sexy calendars to promote something? No, not
Yeah.
really. But it's yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I am struggling with this one. I am.
Yeah.
I think it depends, because when it comes to like sex workers and women, sex op things like that, I think it's morals, like people's morality. It starts to touch
Yeah.
on that.
I
So
think it's an
like,
individual thing. It's a cultural thing. It's not a.
yeah.
It's
I
not
don't
a.
think because she's literally using what she has. Like she knows I got the goods and people have paid for it before and I gotten money from it before. And that's maybe all she knows to make money. I don't know what her mindset is. But
Right. And then in a few years when she settles down and then the kids at school are going, dude, this is your mom. This is your mom.
But that's the thing.
That's
I
the
mean, that's a
end of it.
social issue. That's not a her
sad.
issue. That's a social issue.
It's a
I think-
100%
I think we
her
shouldn't be.
issue. She's
We
inviting
shouldn't.
that.
We shouldn't be stigmatizing him. Like you just showed your tatas. What if Gianni showed her tatas? What's the difference? It's just
There's a double
skin.
standard.
Ew.
That's the problem.
It's
That's what
the-
I'm
it's
saying.
the
That's what I'm
dirty skin.
speaking to.
It's the dirty skin.
But that's what I'm speaking
mean,
to.
the
I mean,
difference
we've
is-
stigmatized women and sexuality and all these other things as something negative. I mean, I don't know what her pictures were. Obviously I didn't pay $10 for her nudes, but I don't know what she was showing in her nudes.
Mhm.
But if she were just showing her
It-
breasts like you
yeah.
just did, what's the difference?
I mean, that's a real question.
That's a question. What's the
Like,
difference? I mean,
Besides literally,
mean,
what's the
just
difference
because-
is when you look at a woman, we're not in like a society where we grew up around naked chested women just walking around on their lawn mowing
it's
the
a
lawn.
societal thing. But
But
if
that's
you
a
just
societal thing, yeah.
if you just look at it is for what it is. I mean, it's the same skin. It doesn't
But
matter.
True.
At the end of the day, this was adult content that was generated for a charitable cause. So
Yeah.
it's it gets blurred. It gets muddied for me.
I mean, that's
Like,
that's
it's
fair.
good,
I
but it's
just
not.
I think sometimes we just get on our moral high horse sometimes, and we just look down on people and we say these things. Like I said, I mean, I think that her actions were good. Her intent was good and positive. She wanted to help. She had a way to do it, and
Determined
she
to help.
and she did a great job of it. I mean, she was able to send some money out. She helped at least
And
one person.
She's super promoted her OnlyFans channel so that she'll be easily making 6 digits a month after this.
Mm-hmm.
There's some benefits to it. I mean, obviously.
But the money was raised selling these pictures to simps. Oh yeah, hey, I want to see that.
I mean,
Here's
but
my $10.
it's no different. It's no different.
Some fans along
It's no
the
different
way.
than if McDonald's gave money off to or Target gave money to Maui. They're not doing it just to give money to Maui. Sure, they're doing it.
So,
but
So funny.
she didn't give $30,000. She gave $30,000 of other people's money, and I struggle with that at Walmart and whatnot. And say, hey, do you want to donate $1 too? No, because I don't want you to have your big tax write-off.
See, that's a whole
at the end of
different
your
issue.
tax year
That's
on
true,
me.
though.
I'm not funding it.
I
hate
agree with
that.
you.
I
Funding
hate
your
that.
tax write-off.
Yeah.
You guys
No.
pay it out of pocket and
Yeah.
do something good.
I totally agree
Oh,
with that.
Yeah.
that burns me.
Yeah, I don't.
hate that.
you know, they try to make you feel bad for not giving. You don't want to give $1? I'm like, not to you.
No.
Not to you. I want to give it to the foundation. Not
I'll
to
give it
you.
to the Red Cross, like whoever. But yeah, all right. Is this truth, lies, shenanigans?
I think it's some truth.
This is
She
truth.
felt the truth
Yeah.
in her heart. She was like, you know what?
Yeah, it's this truth. I think she had good intentions in her heart. I mean, I don't know if she
Yep.
even knew she was going to blow up. So I think that's just a side
Sure,
effect.
she did.
I think it was just a
She
side
knew.
effect.
Sure,
I don't think she
she
knew. It was a
did.
side effect.
I was about
I'm
to
going
say
with the
that.
side
She
You
effect.
know
knew.
what,
I'm keeping it
girl?
good.
Who's
I'm keeping
marketing?
She knew.
I'm gonna,
All they know
Thank
is
you,
marketing.
Johnny. Thank you, Johnny.
You definitely
I'm
do.
looking through rose-colored glasses, like literally right now.
Literally.
Like
Literally.
All right, Giovanni.
Lies, shenanigans.
You want to talk
Okay.
about this museum, this British museum getting roasted? Tell us about it.
Yes, some shenanigans for you guys. So an employee at the British Museum was actually fired recently, and the Metro Police launched an investigation after a number of items at the British Museum's collection, from the British Museum's collection, were found to be missing, stolen, and damaged. So the majority of the items were like small pieces that were kept in a storeroom, and they belonged to one of the museum's collections. This included gold jewelry and some semi-precious gemstones and glass dating back to the 15th century BC to the 19th century AD. So the museum called in the police. They imposed emergency measures to increase security, set up an independent review into what actually happened, and lessons to learn. So they did all of this, and the British Museum said it's a sad day for all those who love our British Museum, but we're determined to right the wrongs and use the experience to build a stronger museum. Human rights lawyer mentioned that the trustees of the museum have become the world's largest receivers of stolen property, and the great majority of their loot is not even on public display. So given the history behind how the museum acquired its artifacts, people pointed out the irony of this situation. So guys, do you think that this museum deserves it? And should they be receiving any public support for these stolen artifacts?
Ooh, that was a long intro. All right.
I know. Sorry.
Good
I had to
lord.
give you some background.
That was a lot of background. Good lord. All right. Like she read the article like to us. All right.
No, I think I did it.
All right, Robbie, go ahead. Talk to us.
Yeah. So no.
Yeah, what do you think?
To answer the question, no, they don't deserve this. Nobody does. And it really saddens me that people aren't realizing that humanity has lost out on these treasures that were being curated by the British Museum. So the artifacts that have disappeared now belong in private collections, and they're not going to be seen again for years, if ever again. So yes, they should be getting public support to have these items recovered. Now, as for the bigger picture, as far as museums are concerned, I will say this: the artifacts should be returned to the countries of origin because they were excavated at a time when this really wasn't part of the mindset. It was just, hey, let's cultivate all of these artifacts for history. Now, if we return them to the countries of origin, the countries of origin can then loan out the artifacts so that they're part of traveling exhibits that visit different parts of the world, and human culture and history needs to be shared with humanity. It's I want to get Neo's thoughts, and then I just want to share some of my observations when I was at the Greek National Museum a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about stolen artifacts. I mean, it's like, pot calling kettle black. Because the British Museum has, it's got the Benin bronzes from Nigeria, the Rosetta Stone from Egypt, the Koh-i Noor. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. The diamond from India, and the Ethiopian tablets. And they've all been these have all been requested to be returned back to their countries, right? And these are just examples of items that were taken out of their countries and requested to be returned, and the museum refuses to do it. So,
Wow.
It's equivalent to like an art thief complaining someone swiped his favorite painting and calling the police and saying, "Hey, someone took my painting."
Mhm.
I mean, it's a lot of irony, and I see it. But you know, I don't know. I don't know that they should be getting any type of public support for this. And I will say these relics are valuable. They're important. You know, we understand museums, they share a lot of history, historical information. I mean, we learn a lot from museums like this. We learn a lot of history, learn a lot of culture, and that's fantastic. But again, when we're dealing with an organization that has taken things and refused to return them, I mean, you can't. I mean, you can't then be complaining about stolen artifacts. It's just not, doesn't make sense.
And the artifacts that were stolen weren't even on public display, though. So there were something
It's
that,
an inside job, clearly.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's not like I don't know. It's
not to make it
yeah,
better. Not that it's a better thing.
right. But I know that when I was in Greece, it was really amazing to see that, like, for example, if you look at the top piece of the building in the news clipping, so they had that on display in Greece. And it was just amazing because some of it was the original pieces. And there was a picture or placard that explained where all these pieces were, when they were excavated, and
Nice.
the spots where they were missing or were part of other museum exhibits, they had replicas in place. So in this day and age of 3D printing, you know, you can have a replica in place. And I know that they have petitioned the other museums to have the artifacts returned. And Neo, I'm with you. Like, they should be with the country of origin. Those artifacts should absolutely be returned,
Especially
there's no
once requested.
question.
If the
Yeah, if they
countries are
ask for
saying,
it
"Hey,
back.
I want my artifacts back." I mean, granted, they have exceptional
Absolutely.
value. I mean, the Rosetta Stone. I mean, really. I mean, that's like.
And it's and I mean
Yeah.
what people are failing to recognize. I mean, there's a false equivalency that's being made where, okay, well, you know, the stuff was stolen from someone who stole. Okay, but if it was another museum stealing the stuff to put it on display or put it in their gallery, then that's an equivalent crime. But this is someone who's stealing privately to those.
Okay.
And I mean, some of these artifacts, if they're precious gems and jewels, if they don't have a buyer lined up, that thing is going to get cut up into smaller gems and it's going to get sold off for whatever the street value is. And we're going to lose that cultural value. We're going to lose that cultural piece forever. So yeah, there should be public support to recover these items because we all lose when it goes into a private collection or it just disappears to the streets.
Yeah.
I just feel like had it been in the place it was supposed to be in the country of origin,
It still could have got stolen. I mean.
I'm joking. No, I think it's horrible, but I think that I think the irony is interesting. But I don't think that they deserved it. I don't think that thievery is a good thing in any instant. But I mean, the irony of it all. Hey, I don't.
I mean, they didn't deserve it, but I
They didn't
mean,
deserve it. But hey,
but we should still be talking. We should still be talking about returning these things to their rightful owners. I'm hoping that it serves as a wake up. I can't talk. Wake up call for the
Yeah.
museum to kind of like reevaluate its practices. I'm hoping this roasting that they got makes them think, you know, because they can change. I mean, I think there's a few artifacts they probably would not give up, but there's a few that they can give up and save some face. I mean, I hope it at least brings some attention and gets them to kind of rethink the way they're doing things.
they have a lot of
Hopefully.
good ones there. The British Museum.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good stuff there.
Mike Winter's
They
response:
got the
someone
goods.
stole their stolen artifacts. I don't care very much. All right. Is this truth,
Truth,
lies,
lies,
shenanigans?
This is some truth and shenanigans for me.
Definitely shenanigans.
Yeah, there's so much shenanigans going on that I have to go with shenanigans.
Yeah,
can't-
it's like what?
I can't buy into the whole.
What?
have to be bold to
someone
steal
stole their
from
stolen
your own
artifacts.
job.
That's perfectly written. I'm not buying into that. All right, great topics, everyone. Good discussions. Let's get into it. And thanks, Mike Winter, for being a part of it. Appreciate you.
Like,
right, we got a fun one. Game show today is Jeopardy. You'll pick a category and a dollar amount and answer in the form of a question. If you get it correct, you get a point. And you have to do the correct response. Make sure it's in the form of a question. And remember, person with the most dollars gets the final thought for the show. Whatever dollars is showing. Now, of course, it gets harder with each one. We are doing pop culture today. We're doing a bunch of pop culture stuff.
Pop
That's the
culture
overall.
again.
So here are your categories. Your categories are, let me see if I get some game. Oh, shoot. It's not working. My show effects. There we go. Thank you. All right. Sports, pop culture, companies, chains, retail chains, and pop culture again. All right. Those are your topics. All right, we'll start off with Gianni Storm. Pick your category and your amount.
Pop culture for 300.
Pop culture for 300. This program in The Matrix enables instant skill acquisition.
That is a hard question. This program in the instant. Oh. Kung Fu.
Kung Fu. That's all right. That's funny. Let's see. What is the Matrix download program? Or
what is
I know Kung Fu, so I'm going to give it to you.
Wrong answer.
Oh, whoops. I'm going to give it to you. Good job, Gianni.
Wait, that's real. What? I was wondering. I was like, did
I
Neo
know
write
Kung
that on
Fu.
here?
We're going to give that to you. So, Gianni, you get the points. All right.
Kung Fu.
Nice.
All right.
Thanks.
Robbie.
You know what? Let's do sports for 3. Let's
Sports
be
for
neighbors.
300. All right. On a court measuring 84 feet by 50 feet, with a net
I don't know.
dividing it, this sport is played.
What is tennis?
Net.
What is tennis? That is incorrect. I was thinking it was volleyball. Yes. The correct answer is
84
what is
feet.
volleyball. All right. All right. Robbie, you don't get any points for that. All right. I am going to pick, let's try companies for 400. The largest hot desert in North America. It's famous for its iconic saguaro cacti. That's I know it. It's called
Oh,
oh my god. The
I know
desert
it.
the hottest it's not oh my god. It's called the gosh, I can't think. Devil's what is oh my
I'm
gosh.
gonna win.
I can't remember. It's Devil's something. Devil's something. Oh,
The Sonoran
Sonoran
Desert.
Desert. Oh, I would have got it wrong anyway. All right. That is incorrect. Incorrect.
Wrong answer.
All right.
And I got to ask, just as a point of etiquette, did Johnny say what is Kung Fu, or did she say, I don't know?
She said what
Kung
is.
Fu? Mm.
Did you say? Oh, did she?
We'll go back to the recording later.
Did you say what is? I thought she did.
I think I remembered afterward.
I didn't want to call attention to it earlier.
We'll
Right.
figure it out in post. All right, Johnny.
I'll do pop culture again for 400.
Pop culture again for aggressive.
She's going for it.
The iconic
Aggressive.
singer is often referred to as the Queen of Soul and is known for hits like Respect and Natural Woman. Oh my God.
R-E-S-P-C-T. Is that damn, I always forget. I always get these two women mixed up.
Uh-oh. Gianni.
Everybody hates me right now. Let me think.
Gianni.
Um,
Come on, Gianni.
Nobody
Shaka
hates you.
Khan. Shaka
Did
Khan.
you
Who
just
is
say-
Shaka- Wait,
Uh,
no.
I love you so much right now. That's amazing. Thank you.
You just said, who is Shaka
Who
Khan?
is
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Shaka Khan. Hold on, I gotta get
Shaka
sorry.
Khan?
Let me get to it. All right. Who is
Okay.
Aretha Franklin?
You get those two confused? Come on, dude.
Answer.
Oh my goodness. Shaka Khan. Oh my God. I don't even know what to say right now.
I did mean Aretha Franklin though.
Okay.
That's who I meant.
All right, Ravi. This might be the last round, Ravi.
That's
So
what I meant. You know what? If this is possibly the last round, go big or go home. Let's do pop culture
Yeah.
for 5.
ooh, 5.
Oh, nice.
All right. Oh gosh. 11 in Stranger Things possesses this supernatural ability.
Ooh, I love this.
So
know
I
it.
really didn't get it. So supernatural ability to
Oh,
go
you did not see?
to-
Did you not see Stranger Things?
to visit the underverse. Well, I know she's telekinetic, but that's not a supernatural ability,
Oh.
or is it?
That is a supernatural. I
okay, so-
can't do it.
So what is telekinesis?
Let's see.
Yes. Good
That
job.
is correct. I was hoping you'd mess that up. Darn it.
Why do you think it's not supernatural? Okay.
Oh,
Because
by
that's
the
like
way-
a superpower. Supernatural, I would think the ability to travel to the underverse or the underworld, the underverse.
Oh.
By
Okay.
the
To me,
way,
that's
Okay, true.
supernatural.
Mike Winter just said Gianni black card might need to be revoked.
I was thinking that. I was
Oh,
thinking that.
Robbie, you got 500 points. Oh, sorry. There we go. All right. There you go. Robbie, all right, 500 points for
Come on,
Robbie.
Neil.
So I've got to go with something. I'm going with sports for 500.
500.
The annual Tour de France primarily unfolds in this nation. It's not, so apparently it's not France. So primarily unfolds in this nation. What is Belgium? Yes. Oh, what?
This is the Tour de Belgium.
That's so obvious.
I was just trying to see.
That's
I
too
thought it was too obvious for the 500 question.
Yeah.
All right, so I lost the game.
That's
Robbie,
how you
you
get
win the game. Gianni should have won. Gianni should have won this game with her Aretha Franklin, Shaka Khan. What the heck?
That's who I meant. I meant Aretha. Horrible.
All right, let's get some shout outs in, Robbie.
All right, my shout out is to the India Space Research Organization for successfully landing the Chandrayaan-3 on the south pole of the moon. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and this makes them the 4th nation to successfully land a rover on the moon. Well done.
Nice.
Nice.
Right. Johnny.
Shout out to the people that are experiencing these fire tragedies right now. It's like the world is crazy with the weather and all of these natural disasters. So let's just hope it's not in our backyard and just pray for the people that are experiencing it.
Yeah. All right, shout out to my niece and my nephew going off to college, Bernadette and Avery, both going off to college. It just left today, actually. One of them left today, one of them's leaving tomorrow. So going back to college. So shout out to those two. All right. That is officially all the time we have for today's show. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. We hope you learned something, gained a new perspective. We even had some laughs with us. Look for us live again next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll have a new guest. And look for our official audio episode this Friday. And you'll find that on Apple Podcasts, Pods Network, Pods with a Z, or anywhere you listen to your podcast. And Robbie Rock, you won again. Close us out.
All right. Embrace the beauty of living healthier. Each good choice you make today sets the stage for a brighter tomorrow.
Yes.
I like that. Robbie Rock.
That's
And
the
then
truth.
Mike Winter, of course, is still roasting me for my Tour de France in Belgium. I thought it was a
heard you
trick
say
question,
Belgium.
people. I thought it was a trick question. All right, thank you, Robbie Rock, Gianni. But most importantly, we got to thank you for listening to our shenanigans each and every week. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday.